Oh, hello there everyone. First video of several today, as several projects have been completed or have been decaled after many years sat in Air Force Base loft. Well, this is a new aircraft to the fleet. In the what if history, this has been in service since the 1960s, although it's been redeveloped and redone many times with more powerful Eland turboprop engines, possibly even having them re-engined with something like a PT6 or a Garrett, something like that. But anyway, here we have the Combat Search and Rescue Rotodyne, the first one of 4 Rotodynes which I'll be building at least. And this is of the Bad LT Combat Search and Rescue Squadron. Now, I do have some combat search and rescue assets. I have the MH-53Es, which are conversions of the Navy MH-53E, which they use for mine clearing. I use them for long-range combat search and rescue, a bit like Pave. And this is of the Bad LT Squadron. There is the Bad Lieutenant himself. And it's well equipped for the combat search and rescue role with a door gunner at the back who can fire when the rear clamshell doors are open. This is, of course, the one and only Airfix kit. Quite a basic kit, quite a simple kit, but quite a nice kit. Been re-released in the Classics range. Not as good as Greg's models, my build, of course. And here we have the winch operator. He's got a GPMG tucked out the way. The winch is from a Chinook, a Special Forces Chinook, as is the forward-looking infrared pod and radar pod. And underneath here we've got a infrared sensor from a Hobby Boss HH60. We've got 2 droppable containers from Hobby Boss HH60s and an F-15E fuel tank for extra range. Could of course carry bladders inside. I still need to do a bit of tidying up, and there's one hatch that I need to put on. But it's had the refueling parode put on so it can do long range missions, because they only had a 250-mile range in airliner mode. Now, with a 9-ton payload, it's not a problem. You can put fuel bladders inside, and that's what they would do. But aerial refueling for very long search and rescue missions is important. Now, the Osprey is a tilt rotor. The Rotodyne is a compound gyrocopter. And it's a very important difference. And in very many ways, the Rotodyne is a lot more reliable because the Rotodyne feeds bleed air from the engines, which comes out here when it's taking off to spin the rotors. And then in normal flight, it uses the engines for forward motion. And then when it comes in for a vertical landing, it activates the bleed air again. There's no gearboxes or anything mechanical. There's no engine pods tilting on gearboxes backwards and forwards. It's very much a simple system. And I believe one which should have been developed really, because it's very reliable and effective. The main reason they wrote it off was because of noise. However, given the jets at the time, it was no more noisier, and they had silencers developed for these tip duct jets anyway. So I love the Rotodyne. I think it's absolutely brilliant that Airfix have re-released it. The colours are Vallejo medium gunship grey and Vallejo light grey, done in a sort of US Air Force, Malagasy Air Force search and rescue CSAR scheme. It's got BOS pods underneath each wing to hold chaff and flares. It's got some flare dispensers and chaff dispensers on the side, and it's covered in warning antennae, missile alert warning systems everywhere to protect it when it's going in to pick up a downed pilot. Picking up down pilots is essential. It seems like no one at the minute can follow the Geneva Convention, and you don't want your pilots being captured or worse, tortured or killed. So the Rotodyne's mission is very important. It's faster than the MH-53Es, and with its refuelling probe, fuel bladders, I believe it would have a good enough range to get out there. So the Rotodynes, there's going to be 12 of these in the service and 9 in the Bad LT Squadron, the others as spares or as operational conversion aircraft. There'll be a whole range of Rotodynes coming up. The Rotodyne 9-ton payload, it's very capable airframe. The Malagasys were really glad that they brought Fairy out. What the British government doesn't want or didn't want in the 60s, the Malagasys went round buying up with their oil money, which turns out to be a really good strategy. I really like the Rotodyne. I may do another combat search and rescue. I may do an RC, a reconnaissance one. I've got a cargo one planned. I've got a Gulf War special one planned. So let me know what you think. Stay tuned and hopefully you've enjoyed the build. Like I said, very basic kit. There's a few areas I should have put a lot of extra work in, mainly on the seams. However, you get to a point with a kit that is almost as old as my dad is. You just want to build it, and that's what I've gone for. So here we go, the Combat Search and Rescue Rotodyne. One of the most successful, what if, unfortunately cancelled projects. Take care. Bye.